week's vlog today, which you guys have all been aware of because I've been mentioning it on quite a few of my recent vlogs. But today we are going dressage. It's the dressage competition, first competition, well, dressage competition of the year. Our last dressage test was November last year, so quite a while ago, and that was actually down at Mullicott, and we've done 2 classes that actually went really well, because this time last year I went to Southcote to do our first ever dressage test together, me and Dan, and we left the arena and it went very, very badly. So fingers crossed that doesn't happen today. It didn't happen at the last one. Today's on surface, so it should be all good, whereas Southcote's obviously on grass, so it's a lot more exciting, and it's where the cross country place is, and I think Dan thought he was going cross country. The plan was to be here for 7:15, but it's 7:30, so it's not too bad. I'm only like 15 minutes late, but I could have done with being a bit earlier, but it's fine. I'm just walking up to get Dan now. Obviously Dan needs to be plaited, so yeah, I've got to get that done. Really annoying, you guys, because I wanted to get my tripod out so that I could film me plaiting, and I always leave it in the car, in the glove compartment. It's always in the car because it's just, I only ever use my tripod when I'm out and about. So by just keeping it in the car, I know I've always got it and I don't have to worry about remembering it because I have a very bad memory. And I just went to get it and it's not there, and I asked my mum where it was and she's emptied out the car and it's in my room, which I haven't even seen. So yeah, no tripod today, guys, apologies. But let's go and get Dan, because I don't think you guys are going to want to hear me out of breath walking up a hill. So this is the problem with the main one. It's not really a problem, but let's get it sorted. Obviously I would have filmed it if I had my tripod, but I'll show you before and after. Obviously you guys, it's all in the Sainsbury's bag. You know all of the stuff I use to plait Dan. It's just the NAF Plait It Up spray, but let's get it plaited. I've just pulled back his fly rug. It's actually the waterproof one because we've had quite a lot of showers, which I'm not moaning about because we've needed it. But let's get plaited. So the plats are done, guys. Obviously down here, like this one here, it's so small. I platted him last week, but I reckon he's rubbed out more, so it's not really a plat, and I've just had to do it. It's a little bit baggy there. These ones aren't the best, but it's because it goes so much smaller and it's a lot more fiddlier. But these one here, I would say, is actually the best ones that I've done. But from a distance, it doesn't look bad. Now, I haven't got his ears, so normally for dressage I wear his black lemur ears, not because he needs it, just because personally I like it, but I forgot them, so he's not going to be able to wear an ear bonnet. It doesn't affect him. I know like some horses, they have to wear ear bonnets in a competition environment with the sound and stuff like that. It doesn't affect Dan. It doesn't matter if he has it or not. It's just personally I like him to wear them. But obviously I haven't got them, so he isn't going to be wearing them, which means I'm now going to have to plait his forelock, because when he wears ear bonnets I don't bother plaiting his forelock because I'm like, no one's going to see it anyway. But because we aren't wearing them, I'm going to have to plait his forelock, which I hate doing. Not because Dan isn't naughty, but he just chucks his head up in the air like that, and then I lose where I'm plaiting. It takes me ages, and I'm not the best at them anyway, but let's give it a go. And hopefully last week for showing, it was the best forelock I've done in literally ages, so hopefully it can be the same this week, can't it, Dan? What's wrong with my plats this morning, guys, but they're going well. This is the best forelock plat I have literally, I think, even ever done. I'm so happy with these plats. We'll just ignore the little tiny one, but the rest of them, I'm very happy with them. You guys might think differently, but they're the best ones I've done in literally ages. So I'm going to give him a good brush, brush his tail through, obviously with the mane and tail, because I just leave his tail because I can't plait tails at all. It's a bit scruffy because I wanted to have the pulled effect, but because I messed up a few months ago, we haven't been able to do anything with it. By the way, that's wet because we just scrubbed the top of his bum because he had a bath. So I just kind of have to leave it wild until I can actually do something with it, which is annoying. So Dan the man is all brushed, tail's being done, and we are now going to put him in the stable so he can eat some haylage while we go and pick up the trailer, get everything sorted, and then we can get loaded. I've put his fly rug with the lightweight on. Lovely Dan. Good boy. Let's finish with my sentence. I've put his fly rug with the lightweight bit on the top in the car, just because there's an hour between both of my classes, and I don't know, we've got a feeling it might rain. I'm really hoping it's not, but it's too hot really to put anything else on him. So if he has it with the lightweight bit on the top, it'll just keep him dry if there is a shower, but fingers crossed there isn't going to be one. And yeah, I'll put the head collar down there. So we're going to go up and get the trailer now and then come back, and I've literally just got to tie the haylage net up and get him loaded. The plan is to leave at 9 o'clock, so hopefully it's 8:20 now, so we should do it in time. So we've done a nice full hay net for him to obviously when we're hanging around after my first test and travelling, and then obviously we've got all of this that we keep in here, buckets to wash him down, make sure he has a drink, all of that stuff that stays in there. Mountain block because I can never get on from the floor, poop scoop, hoof pick, which has actually been in there for years. Yeah, basically got everything. Also we've put the lightweight in there, just we're hoping that we're not going to need it, but at least we've got it just in case. We've also got treats. I know this says glucosamine extra, it's a supplement pot, but it's full of the omega equine toffee apple treats, which the horses both love, and then some carrots, because as you guys are aware, I always make sure we take plenty of treats for Dan, whether it's a competition, a lesson, just arena hire. Basically, whenever we go out in the trailer, I always make sure that we've got lots of treats for him. Also got the fly spray here, which I'm not sure if we're actually going to need that today. And then mane and tail, which, oh yeah, there's a little bit in there. We need to get some more of that. Obviously got plenty of water for him. And yeah, it's a nice kind of day actually today, because it's not actually going to be that hot and there shouldn't be too many flies either. But just fingers crossed it doesn't rain for us. So I haven't talked to you guys about what test I'm doing. I might have mentioned it in my practicing when I went down to Lorna's, which that vlog actually went live on Wednesday. Both the classes that I'm doing today is Intro B, which is just a walk trot test. It's actually a test that I done last year, which went really well. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, it's going to go just as well today. I'll be very pleased if it does. So that's going to be kind of like my warm-up one. And then my second class is Prelim 7, which actually hasn't got too many 20-metre circles, or it's not really like a hard test like that. It's basically just changing the rein. I do have to do a 20-metre circle on both reins, but it's only in trot, and then I come back round, and then half of the 20-metre circle I canter the rest, and then I go all the way around the long side. So cantering is the weakest for me and Dan, and I'm not the best at doing 20-metre circles anyway. I have no idea why, I'm not. So yeah, cantering we just struggle with, so I wanted a nice, simple, easy kind of test that we both found not easy, but we found it better than doing more of a complicated test. And basically Prelim 7 was the easiest one out of all of the other tests. I was actually thinking about doing Prelim 12, but then there was lots of little bits and I was like, no, we're going to struggle with that. So yeah, fingers crossed it's going to go well for both classes. Obviously the prelim is when we start cantering. My kind of aim is when I go into the warm-up for my first class, which will be the Intro B, I'm not going to canter him in the warm-up, because when I start cantering him, he starts to get a little bit excited, and then that's when he gets strong. And obviously in dressage you're only allowed to ride in a snaffle, and then once I wind him up, then in the test he'll be like just wanting to canter basically. And because I don't need to canter for the first test, I'm not going to worry about cantering in the warm-up. Then for the second test, I might have like one canter, but I'm not going to keep cantering him. I'll just go for one canter on both reins, and just leave it like that so that I don't wind him up, because obviously when I first go into the test it's going to be a lot of trotting. It's not cantering, I don't think, until like near the end. I'm going to get both of my tests read out because I have a very bad memory and I should really learn them, but I know I will forget them. So I know somebody there that will probably, if I ask them, will call it out for me, for both of them. And yeah, I think that's everything that I need to say. My first class, Intro B, is at 10:38 and my second class is at 11:31, so there isn't too long of a wait, which is good, because I know with dressage, depending on how many classes you do, you can be waiting up to like 2 hours for your class. But luckily Intro B is the second class of the day, and then Prelim 7 is straight after, but we have a break after Intro B and then it goes on to Prelim 7. The judge that's judging me, I don't know her. She's judging me in both of my classes, and then I think when it gets to Prelim 12, that's when the judge changes. So yeah, I think that's everything that I need to fill you guys into. I'm pretty sure I will be able to start loading up now. I also forgot to mention to you guys, today's dressage day is actually a charity dressage. It's for Parkinson's disease. They actually hold this event every single year. I've actually really wanted to go last year, which actually last year I was entered for it, but unfortunately, if you guys can remember, Dan had a bad shoulder, so I was unable to go. We found out like on the Monday and I was going on the Sunday, and obviously it wasn't fair for him to go, so we was unable to go. And then I was meant to go the year before, and I honestly cannot remember why I didn't go. I don't know if it was because I was already going to do something that day, like I was going jumping, or I have no idea. But yeah, I've been meaning to go now for 2 years on the road, and this year I was like, I am definitely going, because I really wanted to go, and it's obviously for a really good cause as well. It's not at Mullicott, that's where we went last year for it, for the dressage, I'm on about the last dressage. The charity dressage that I'm doing today is always held at the same venue. It's at White Lake Farm, which isn't too far from here, which is good. It has got the most amazing facilities. I've never ridden in the sand school before, but I actually went there last year because we knew somebody that was competing there, who's also competing there today, and we went out and helped her basically. So I saw the surface, I saw the yard. The yard is amazing. They've got both of the schools are outdoors. We've got a big outdoor school, which is where our tests are going to be today, and then there's a slightly smaller outdoor school, which is obviously where we're going to warm up. And last year everybody parked up in a field, so I take it that's where we're going to be all parking again today. And yeah, it's just really nice, and last year it seemed to be like a really nice atmosphere as well, which is always a good thing. So yeah, come along with us and I hope you enjoy. Oh, Dawny thinks she's coming with us. Don't you, Dawny? She's just brought herself out. I thought I'd leave the gate open a minute because I'm not going to be very long. You can't. Where's she going? Dan, she wants to come with you, and she would be an absolute nightmare, guys. She'd be so excited. She'd be whinnying at every horse she sees. Like, I don't think she'd stand still. I actually think she would be a nuisance. I'm not gonna lie. I really think you would, Down. I know you're like a little dog and you're only small, but I really think you would be a nuisance. I think she'd just be whinnying and just so excited, and I don't think we'd be able to leave her to stand at the box. So I'm not gonna try it, girlie, as much as you want to come. I do feel sorry for you, but I can't let you come, okay? I know. Sad, isn't it? You can watch him be loaded up though, and he'll be back later, won't you, Dan? The plaits come out. It's the really loose one. I just have to put another band around. It'll look fine. Are we ready then, Dan? Boots are not allowed, guys, for dressage, which is so annoying. I really wish they were. Even if it had to be like a set colour, like white, for an example, to match your numna. Like, that would look so smart, but we're not allowed them. Not allowed overreach boots either, which I'll take off once we get there. I know, Dan, you're confused why she's here and can't really load. Come on round here. He's like, I can't get on from that way. Good boy. Good boy. She isn't loading herself, is she? Is she just standing and watching, or is she getting on as well? Oh, she's so cute. What? Oh. Good boy. No, Dan, don't worry, she'll go to sleep in your eye. Is it out yet? Don't worry, boy. He'll worry now because he'll know that she's out and she'll wonder where she's going. Like, look, he'll worry. It's alright, Dan, I'm going to put her back in the field, alright? Just hope she doesn't get out onto the road a minute. I'll give her a carrot, that'll make her happy. Hopefully she'll forgive me then. We're not coming. Anyway, guys, I'm going to do the ramp up, get Dawn in, and then we'll be en route. Good boy. We're here, guys. It is honestly amazing. I might not be able to film all the way down because people are obviously going to be riding their horses for intro A, and people are going to be around, and it's a little bit embarrassing having my phone out. But it's honestly amazing.
The destination is on your right.
So I'm just going to open the gate a minute, guys. How amazing, guys, having electric gate. I'm sorry, what? Just little things like that. It's just amazing. And it's all been signposted dressage. So that's the sand school, guys. You can't really see from here, but it is literally massive with mirrors. And then this is the warm-up arena. The most embarrassing thing ever, guys, let me just add. This is just an embarrassment. We're driving down, everybody is on my side where they see this silver tape. I just get so embarrassed. Wherever we go, I get so embarrassed with this silver tape because it is literally like, it is bright silver. It's so obvious. It's not even something where people are not going to notice. It is noticeable, and We've been driving around with it now for like a month, maybe no, 2 months now, because it was fully fun ride, which was the 1st of May, and it's the 2nd of July now. Okay guys, so I'm going to put my stock on. So you're actually meant to wear a stock when doing dressage. Some people actually don't bother to wear a stock. They just wear like their show shirt like this. But the correct thing for dressage is to wear a stock. Now I've actually got the lazy way because I've got a strap on, so I don't have to worry about doing like the proper ones because I can't do them. And yeah, so I have a Velcro one, which just makes things 10 times easier. But I don't know where the stock's gone. Hang on. So I've got my stock on. Look how pretty, sorry, half my head's cut out. Look how pretty my stock pin is. I literally love it. Also what I've got, which I'll be putting on, is this. So basically it's a hairnet but with a nice bow with a little bit of bling. So I actually only use this for dressage. I could use this for show jumping, but I feel like dressage is more where it's a bit more like blingy-fied and you can kind of bling up more, I suppose. So I will be putting this on. I'll just basically be putting my hair into a low bun like I always do, and then I just shove this over my bun, and then this goes on the back, and you can actually see it, which just looks so cool. So I will be putting that on. It's only 9:30 now. I don't need to be on until 10:38, but I want to watch people's tests, like people that I know basically. So the plan is, instead of going up there because they're not until 10, I'm gonna get him tacked up, get ourselves ready, and then I'm gonna get on him, and then I can stand up there, watch the test, and then go straight into the warm-up. Hopefully that's allowed because I'm not in intro A. And then yeah, fingers crossed for us. He hasn't been ridden in 2 days as well, guys, by the way. All tacked up. Garrett salad delivers numna. You smart boy. Good boy. All ready. This is me awkwardly doing a twirl in front of people, showing you my hair clip and my outfit. Also apologies guys, because my mum accidentally filmed me getting on in time lapse, so I've had to put it on slow-mo, which has made it go a bit juddery like this, but the time lapse was even worse than this, so bear with. But the next load of footage should be all on normal filming. Guys, I was meant to be on in 10 minutes time, but unfortunately it was intro A. We're still on intro A. One of the riders has had a serious accident. The horse proper like bronked. She come off, obviously. She did have an air jacket on, which is so lucky, because it could be 10 times worse. But unfortunately it is really serious that the ambulance has had to be called. Which obviously is going to take time for the ambulance to be called, which obviously means the event's on hold, which doesn't matter as long as obviously the rider's okay. I think the horse was just full of it, but there's already been quite a few falls. I think it's quite windy today, and I think the horses are quite spooky, and there's like banners and stuff like this. And normally this horse, where the rider had the accident, is normally like really good at his dressage and always like wins everything. So I don't think it's normal for the horse to behave like this. I just think it's windy and everything's flapping and it's made it 10 times scarier. Obviously hoping that the rider's all okay. Excuse what my hair looks like, but yeah, hoping obviously the rider's all okay. Because it is obviously a horse accident, they normally like to send out an air ambulance. I'm not sure if it is going to be an air ambulance or just an ambulance, but obviously it's not going to be like here in 10 minutes. The horse was so wound up once we brought it out. There was my mum and a few others led the horse down, untacked, sorted it out. It's now in the lorry. Thankfully the woman that's fallen off had her friend with her, so she's with her. But yeah, so obviously we're just on hold. Dan, I've obviously tacked up, warmed up and everything. He was going really well in the warm-up. As you would have seen by the videos, we've done the walk to trot transitions. When I brought him back, I just took his bridle off. I was just going to leave him in his saddle, but everyone else has took all of their tack off, so I've just took his saddle off as well. And thankfully we brought his lightweight, because I wanted to bring my dry rug, but I completely forgot about it, and it's quite chilly and I'm worried about him getting cold. So I've just put his lightweight on for the minute, and he's just stood eating his haylage, and then obviously make sure that the ladies got off fine in the ambulance, and then we'll all get tacked up. And I think there's still a few more to go into intro A before my class starts, and then I'm like the second or the third one in intro B, so then I'll have to warm up again, and then we'll go in for our first class, and then we'll have a while until my second class. But I thought I would just update you guys now basically, instead of making a really long outro. But yeah, well, I say everybody's fine. Hopefully it's nothing too serious, and thankfully she had her air jacket on, because it could have been 10 times worse. But I'm going to now stand out with Dan and yeah, find out how she all is, and I'll probably either update you before I do my test, or it'll be after my test. He's gone really needy now, guys. He's watching me like a stalk if I go to the front of the car. But yeah, he's got his filthy lightweight on, just with his haylage. Good boy. Okay, so I'm going to be doing a voiceover on both of my tests, guys. Now, I'm really bad at looking at the sheet, making sure I'm in the right place for the video, so apologise if it's really appalling. When I done it last time, it was so bad, and I'm not saying I'm going to be any better, as I haven't done any since. So yeah, apologies. I'll try and do it all in the right time. So this is intro B, the first test. So at the start, I'm just basically walking around at the top up by the mirrors, waiting for the bell to go for me to start my test. Now, this sound school seemed to be quite spooky for a lot of the horses. Now, Dan was actually very good. He isn't a spooky type anyway, so I wasn't really expecting him to be that spooky, but it was quite windy as well. He did not like spook, but he was a little bit lucky down the other end once we got into the test, which you guys will see in a minute, of basically just the jumps, just like silly little things that he doesn't really need to be scared of. But I'm really happy, because some of the other horses that went in there today literally freaked out, so I could not be happier. So sorry guys, but still walking around waiting for the bell to go. It literally felt like ages. So the bell went, and I didn't feel ready to go straight down the centre line, so I just quickly done another circle in trot. And now we make my way down to the centre line. So it's enter in working trot and proceed down the centre line without halting, track right. So I got 5.5 for this centre line, because unfortunately, as we get near the judge box, we broke into walk, which was just so annoying. And he actually done this in the last test I done, so I should have kept my leg on. And basically it just said break rhythm, shame. So then we come back around to A, and then it's half circle 20 metre right to X, and then half circle 20 metre left to C. Now I got another 5.5, and the comments are losing balance, not always correct bend, which I know that's something that we always struggle with anyway. Coming back round from E, B, turn left, and then turn right. And I got a 5 for that. God, it's getting even worse, guys. And it says losing balance through turns, which again is something that we really struggle with. Then at A, K, transition to medium walk, I got a 7 for this. So we've gone from 5 straight up to 7. Big jump. and obedient and clear walk. So really happy with this. And also Dan was really relaxed today, which is quite surprising because I'm not going to lie to you guys, I did have some nerves, which is really strange for dressage when it's all flat, when I don't get any nerves for showing. So he didn't actually pick up for that, so I'm really happy with that. And then KXM changed the rein in free walk on a long rein. I got a 6 for this. And it got balance AK, jogged, could have greater stretch. Sorry, I've lost where I am already. And then M between M and C, medium walk. Between M and C, working trot. I got a 6 for that. And Shame spooked at poles. HXF changed the rein in working trot. I got a 7, some fair steps, the comments were. So, just so happy with how he was going. He wasn't racing. A, circle right 20 metres and allow the horse to stretch, taking up some rein before returning to A. Now, again, this is something that we struggle with as well. When I last done my intro B, this was the exact same result that I got. So I got a 5 for this. Inactive, no stretch shown. Sorry, I can't really read the writing as such, which I feel really bad to say that. This is when I made a mistake, guys. Stupidly, so the bell went. I just got completely lost, which is so embarrassing because there was somebody calling out my test. So I had to come back round because EX half circle 10 metres in diameter and then X proceed down the centre line. So I'm coming back now, and at E I needed to do a 10 metre circle, and I went across the arena, and that's where I got lost. So I come round to do my 10 metre circle like I'm doing now, and then come back down the centre line, and then between X and G it was halt, immobility, salute. So for my half circle 10 metres in diameter, I got a 6 for that. Half circle, a little shallow, they said. And then halt, immobility, salute, I got a 6, and halt, not square. So yeah, it wasn't the best of tests. For the judges' comment and collective marks for rhythm, I got a 7. So this goes on, well, both of us really. I'm really happy that we got a 7 because that's something that me and Dan really struggle with, is rhythm. Because 1 minute we're going like racing, and then the next minute we were going to quite a nice speed. So it's quite nice to know that we kept the same rhythm, and from the minute that I started the test to finish, we stayed the same speed, which is really nice. Suppleness, we got a 6, contact a 6, rider's position a 6.5, and rider's result 6.5. We got 61.30%. And the judge's comment is a willing bay with lots of potential. He now needs to make his balance and contact for suppleness to get higher marks. Sorry guys, again I find it really hard to read her writing, no offense, but if you guys can read the bits that I couldn't really read, then that's good. If not, at least I'm not the only one. Next test, prelim 7, which is got canter in it. So again, I'm just trotting around at the top waiting for the bell to come down to centre line. Again, apologies, I'm not very good at doing this, reading it out and making sure I'm in the right place. So A, enter and working trot and proceed down the centre line without halting, track left. I got a 7 for this, and I got, the judge said, rather active centre line. And if you guys remember in the first test, we broke coming down the centre line. So really happy that I got him going there. I just needed more leg in the first test. And then H, working trot around the arena to A. I got 6.5, and the judge put hurried. And then FXH, change the rein in working trot. Again, I got 6.5. Could be more relaxed over back. And then H, working trot around the arena to A. Again, I got 6.5. It says rather hurried. And then A, circle right 20 metre diameter, and on the circle between X and A, working canter right. Now I made a mistake here, guys, because I had it in my head that I needed to do a full circle of 20 20 metre circle in trot, and then as I come back round to X, go for a canter. But I was meant to just canter at X. So here am I just thinking that I'm doing it all right and doing the 20, and then she was shouting to me, canter. So then I cantered around, and then I was like so confused because I was like, wait, what? I thought I had to canter on X, if that makes sense. And then here she was like, no, you've done it wrong. You was meant to canter on the X and then just go all the way round. So this is her basically just telling me what I had to do. And then it was honestly so embarrassing, and I got myself in a little bit of a state because obviously in the first class I went wrong as well, and it is embarrassing considering I have a judge reading it out, a reader, sorry. So here I just went back to X and then cantered and come all the way around the longer reader, what I was meant to do to start off with. And then between B and F, it's working trot. And then F, A, K, working trot, I got a 5 for this, and the judge put incorrect bend, unbalanced to trot. And then K, medium walk, E, turn right, B, track left, M, working trot. I got a 7 for this, late to walk, better steps. And just here, guys, I was just thinking to myself, oh my God, I just want to get this test done. I was just so embarrassed. It was honestly the most horrible feeling ever. And then C, circle left, 20 metre diameter, and on the circle between X and C, working canter left. So I actually done it right this time, but as you can see, Dan put in his buck, and I got a 5.5, and my comment was a little buck. And in the warm-up, we had a full-on bucking fit down the centre line. And then C, working canter round the arena between B and M, working trot. I got a 5 for this, rather hurried, plus onwards, I think I write in sense, unbalanced against hand to trot. Sorry, it's really hard to read her writing. No offence to her. And then C, medium walk. H, B, change the rein in a free walk on a long rein. B, medium walk. Again, I got 5 for this. And she said, against hand to walk, needs consistent stretch plus straightness. F, working trot. A, down the centre line. G, halt, immobility, salute. I got 5.5. Needs greater straightness plus suppleness plus balance. And yeah, I was just so happy to get it over and done with. So here, guys, for rhythm, I got 6.5. Suppleness 6, contact 6, rider's position 6.5, and rider's result 6.5. And in a judge's comment, sorry, I find it really hard to read her writing. You guys might be able to read it better. But a willing bay with lots of promise for the future. He now needs a something rhythm, elastic contact, and become more supple laterally plus over the back. Well done. Sorry guys, that's literally all I can read. You guys might be able to read that writing. If you can, you'll know what the judges said. Apologies. If you don't, then at least I'm not the only one. And my percentage was a 59.31, so not amazing at all. And for intro B, I got 61.30%, so intro B was a lot better. We have just dropped the trailer off, and now I thought I would do my debrief. So obviously you guys will have already seen both of my tests. I've also done a voiceover, so you would have heard all my like scores I've got, and yeah, my scores. Sorry, I can't get my words out and I have no idea why. So I messed up in both of my tests, as you guys already know. It was completely my own fault. I'm really pleased with how well Dan went today. You know, when I told him we were just trotting, he just trotted. We didn't leave the arena like our first ever dressage test. Really pleased with how he went. I cannot fault him whatsoever. Also, it's been a lot of standing around today. Obviously, as I mentioned to you guys, there was an accident and we had to wait like an hour for the ambulance to come, which actually I know isn't that long, but it felt like forever. And then I re-tacked back up, and Dan was like a completely different horse. So I already warmed up before the accident happened, and I was just coming out of the warm-up to go up to see how long I was going to be, and that's when the accident happened. We literally watched it with our own eyes. Hopefully she's all good, and I'm pretty sure, we're certain that she might have broken her hip, but we're not sure for definite yet because no one's heard anything since she left White Lake Farm. But hopefully she's all good and we'll have a speedy recovery whatever she's done. But yeah, so he was a completely different horse, because when I warmed up before the accident he was really steady, really chilled and everything. Then the second time I got on him, he was like a completely different horse, and I think it's because we normally only park on grass when it's like cross country or something to do with jumping, and even like when we go Coxley or down farm, that's on surface. And the last time we parked on grass, we went cross country, and that was the last time we jumped as well. And I think he thought, I've done my little bit in the sand school, it's now time to do some jumping on cross country, because he really does love his cross country, and I don't know if that's what he thought, we're going to jump now. But anyway, I took him up to the sand school, and once we got into sand school and was walking around, he was absolutely fine, he calmed down, he wasn't jig-jogging or anything. I walk trotted him around because I didn't want to do my canter yet, because I was still only doing intro B, which is walk and trot. I then took him into my intro B, and that's when I made my mistake. It's so annoying as well because I'd done it right at the end of the test, and it was completely my own fault. It's so embarrassing because I had a cooler, which just makes it 10 times worse. But I didn't hear it properly. I got to H and it was almost like she said it too quickly, and I was like, I don't know where I'm going. And then I come across and I was like, I'm pretty sure this isn't in the test. But then at that point, when I was halfway across, it didn't beep to say that I was wrong. So I was like, this must be it, but this is not familiar to me. And then it beeped and I was like, I thought I went wrong. And then I just had to come back round and redone it, which was fine. And then after intro B, we was meant to have a break, but because there was like we were 2 hours behind on the dressage, we didn't bother having a break. So I needed to canter, because at this point I hadn't cantered, and I wasn't sure whether to canter before I went into my test or just do our canter in the test. I wasn't sure by cantering in the warm-up if that was going to wind him up, but I thought no, I better take him into the warm-up and canter him. Now unfortunately this part, which you guys would have loved to have seen and I would have loved to have rewatched it back, wasn't filmed, which is just typical. So anyway, I literally had not long at all, because the horse that was in the arena doing their test, finishing the last one of intro B, nearly finished their test, and I was the first one in for prelim, so I had no time at all. So I went in there, and because we just finished, I thought, right, I'll just go for a canter. I asked for canter on one rein, he was absolutely fine. Changed the rein, come round for a canter, and he bucked with me. And he didn't just do one buck, he bucked pretty much all the way along the long side of the arena. And they wasn't pathetic bucks, it was leg between his front legs. I was proper bucking. Luckily, I sat to all of them, I didn't fall off, which is a bonus and a good thing. And then I was getting called to go in for my test, and I was like, oh god, I can't even come back round for another canter without him bucking. So I just had to go in for it. Again, obviously I had my test called, and you guys will already know I made another mistake, which was just completely my own fault. I swore that you had to do a full 20-metre circle, and then when you come back round, go for a canter. And I was saying in my head before I was coming to it, remember, do the full 20-metre circle before you go for a canter. Don't do your canter on your half-metre circle until you've done your full 20-metre circle, if that makes sense. But obviously I got it wrong. It was just so embarrassing. Also, forgot to mention, which again you guys have already seen in the video, that he done his buck on his second half of canter. Now it's not because he is in pain or any discomfort, that is what Dan does, it's excitement with him. He's always done it ever since I've got him, and it's not because he's in pain, it is genuinely excited. He isn't a one to like rear or do anything nasty or anything like that, it is generally excitement, and sometimes he'll do it, sometimes he doesn't, it just depends what mood he's in. So I come out of the arena, I cried, not proper cried, but I had a few tears because, not because of the buck, I'm not worried about the buck whatsoever because I'm used to him bucking like that, and it was basically not because of Dan at all. I'm not blaming Danny here one bit. It was embarrassment because obviously I've gone in there and people are watching me, which I literally hate. Even though people watch me when I'm doing jumping, when I'm doing showing, and it doesn't bother me at all, but dressage is just completely different. Also knowing that the judge is also watching me is just horrible. I just hate the atmosphere. And I was so embarrassed because obviously both of my tests were called out and I still got both of them wrong. And in my second test I was like, I really need to focus and listen because I really don't want to make another mistake, but unfortunately I did. And yeah, it just wasn't very nice, and it wasn't because anybody, like, obviously people was watching me, but they wasn't just watching me, if you know what I mean. They was watching everybody that was going in to do their test. But it was basically through embarrassment, and there's nothing wrong with it. That's why I want to share with you guys, because I'm sure someone else might feel like this or might have already feeling like this. There's nothing to be ashamed about. But yeah, and everybody was like, well done, you know, you've done really well, which is just obviously really nice. I really appreciate that. Now I obviously know that neither of our tests was amazing. You know, I'm not a top dressage rider. I really don't particularly like dressage. Obviously Dan isn't a top dressage horse. I know the main thing about dressage is accuracy, which obviously comes on my behalf. But you know, Dan doesn't look fancy going around. I'm fully aware of that, and we basically just go there for fun and to enjoy it, and also for experience. This is our third ever dressage competition. Dan has never done a dressage test with his previous owner. It was his first ever dressage test when I done it with him last year, so this is our third one and I'm just so happy with him. Yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this week's vlog. A little bit of entertainment for you all, that's for sure. Yeah, dressage is just definitely not my thing, and I'm not going to say it's not Danny's, because in my results it did say that he has got potential if I worked on it. And I think it would be a lot easier as well if we had our own sand school, because obviously it is harder. I'm not using this as an excuse, by the way, guys, but it is harder as well, because obviously by the time we travel to wherever it is and then do it, like run for our test and then come back home to do that like 4 times a week, as well as doing other things, it's just crazy. So if we had our own sand school, it would be 10 times easier. But never mind, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I'm really happy with how it's gone, and I think that's everything that I need to say. It's just reality basically with what's happened today. Don't, by what I'm saying now, let it put you off if you guys are thinking about doing a dressage test but you've never done it before, because everybody's experiences are different when they go there. You could go and do a dressage test and really enjoy it, and that could be your kind of thing that you want to do, and you don't see where I'm coming from. Other people might see the same as me. I still want to do dressage because I think more times I do it, it's going to get easier, it's going to get better, you're going to get used to going down the centre line, you're going to get used to like the atmosphere compared to like showing and jumping. It's a completely different atmosphere, and I feel like the more times you do it, you're going to get used to it, you're going to get better at it, fingers crossed, because my last dressage test I've done, I actually done better than this time. But yeah, you're going to get better, so it's just basically a work in progress. And I think instead of just practicing it once, we've had 2 weeks before today, and I done 1 week and I practiced it once, and then I done it again on Thursday, and I think I need to do it a few more times in the week. It's just finding the time to be able to go out in the trailer, say like 3 times a week, to practice it and like keep doing it. But yeah, if you have enjoyed this vlog, please make sure that you like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!